Hey everyone, it's Pat and want to welcome you to another edition of Increase, the lifestyle vlog for men and the women who love them. Hey, we are right here where it all started, actually almost exactly a year ago. In fact, March 20th of this year will be a year from when I released my first video explaining the lifestyle vlog for men that I wanted to put out. And since then, this is video number 26. And so it's been a great year, and I look forward to seeing what we're going to do in 2019. But I wanted to shoot the video right here in my library, in my garage. And yes, my library is in the garage. You think, well, that's kind of a strange place to put your library. Well, when we moved into our house 3 years ago, my wife asked me, are you going to park your truck in the garage? And I said no. I said the garage is for important things like my books, and so my library is in my garage. You know, I have over 2,000 volumes in my library, and you know, there is a lot of knowledge back there on those shelves. But do you realize that that knowledge is absolutely worthless if I do not pull those books off of those shelves and read them? But if I read every word of every book on those shelves, but I do not apply the things that I've learned, I've gained absolutely no wisdom at all. So today I want to look at growing mentally by seeing the difference between knowledge and wisdom. Here at Increase, one of our goals is to grow mentally. And to do that correctly requires 2 steps. Number 1, the first step to growing mentally is acquiring knowledge. And in fact, the definition for knowledge is information gained through experience, reasoning, or acquaintance. So whether we want to admit it or not, most of our days are spent acquiring knowledge. Now, you might think that reading certain magazines is not knowledge, but actually it is. Watching TV is a way to gain knowledge. Browsing on your smartphone is a way to gain knowledge. And obviously, reading books is a way to gain knowledge. But the point is, we can acquire knowledge anywhere and everywhere. But is knowledge for knowledge's sake good enough? I guess it is if you want to win at Trivial Pursuit, or if you want to be a contestant on Jeopardy. But is knowledge alone really what we should be striving for? The second step to growing mentally is acquiring wisdom. Like knowledge, wisdom is something that we can acquire. What's interesting, though, is that knowledge can exist without wisdom, but wisdom cannot exist without knowledge. In fact, the definition for wisdom is the ability to discern or judge what is true, right, or lasting. So to put it in more simple terms, knowledge is the accumulation of information, whereas wisdom is knowing what to do with it. The accumulation of information is easy, but wisdom takes effort, trial, error, pain, blood, sweat, and tears. There are many smart people in the world, but there are far too few who are really wise. Probably, if you were to ask the average person who throughout history would be considered the wisest person who ever lived, many people would say King Solomon. King Solomon was known for his wisdom. If you're not familiar with King Solomon is the 3rd king of ancient Israel. He was the son of King David, and when David finally stepped down from the throne and Solomon became king, God approached Solomon and said, Solomon, what do you want? I'll give you whatever you ask for. You just tell me what you want. And Solomon said, God, what I need more than anything, because you gave this promise to my father that his family would stay on the throne. What I need more than anything is for wisdom and knowledge to rule your people. And God told Solomon, because you did not ask for riches, you did not ask for superiority over your enemies, you did not ask for all of these other things, but you asked for wisdom and for knowledge on how to rule my people, I'm going to give you wisdom, I'm going to give you knowledge, and I'm going to give you all of those other things as well. And for that reason, Solomon goes down as, again, not only the wisest king who probably ever lived, but also one of the best known kings of all of the ancient history. One of the stories that actually comes up about Solomon and his wisdom was during a time where two women came before him, and what had happened was these women actually lived together, and both of them had a child about the same age. Well, at night, it wasn't unusual for the children to sleep with the parents, and at night, one of the mothers had rolled over and smothered her child to death. And so in the middle of the night, she had realized what she had done, and so she had switched her dead baby with the baby of her roommate. And so the next morning, when the other mother woke up and found the baby dead, she knew that was not her child. But the other one, who actually unfortunately had accidentally killed her baby, argued with her and said, no, you had rolled over and smothered your child to death. This one is mine. And so they took the case before the king. Well, as they both presented their ideas, Solomon, because of his wisdom, well, first of all, Solomon, because of his knowledge of mothers and how mothers would love their children, gained wisdom in this case. And so Solomon's answer was, let's take the child and cut it in half, and we'll give half to each of the women. Now, that sounds very horrible and very grotesque. But the answer that one woman gave, she was fine with that. She was okay with Solomon's answer. And she said, that's fine, let's do it. Let's cut the baby in half. I'll take half and you give half to the other one. But the real mother said, no. I would rather the baby stay alive and she have the baby than for any harm to come to the child. And because of Solomon's knowledge of ladies and mothers, Solomon's wisdom kicked in so he could find out who the real mother was. There's a great parody of this in the series Seinfeld.
So that's the situation.
You present an interesting dilemma. Each of you seemingly has a legitimate claim to the bicycle, and yet the bicycle can have only one rightful owner. Quite the conundrum. As a federal employee, I believe the law is all we have. It's all that separates us from the savages who don't deserve even the privilege of the Daily Mail, stuffing parcels into mailboxes where they don't belong. Damn it! But you must promise that you will abide by my decision no matter how unjust it may seem to either of you. Do I have your word?
Yeah.
All right, let's begin. Ooh, my cocoa! Well, you both presented very convincing arguments. On the one hand, Elaine, your promise was given in haste, but was it not still a promise? And Kramer, you did provide a service in exchange for compensation, but does the fee, once paid, not entitle the buyer to some assurance of reliability? These were not easy questions to answer. Not for any man. But I have made a decision. We will cut the bike down the middle and give half to each of you.
What? This is your solution? To ruin the bike? All right, fine. Go ahead. Cut the stupid thing in half.
No. Give it to her. I'd rather it belong to another than see it destroyed. But Newman, give it to her, I beg you.
Yeah.
Yeah, not so fast, Elaine. Only the bike's true owner would rather give it away than see it come to harm. Kramer, the bike is yours.
What?
Sweet justice. Newman, you are wise.
But this isn't fair. Look at my neck is still hurting me, and now you have the bike?
Well, tell it to the judge, honey. I'm going for a ride.
Let me say one more thing before we go today. Wise people aren't always right, but wise people learn from their mistakes and learn from the mistakes of others. So today, I hope this video has helped you in knowing the difference between knowledge and wisdom. Again, knowledge is just the accumulation of facts and information, but wisdom is knowing what to do with that knowledge. Here is a recent Chinese buffet proverb. Knowledge is knowing that a tomato is a fruit. Wisdom is knowing not to put it in a fruit salad.